Sometimes, it feels like the Yellowstone universe is endless. And honestly, I absolutely love that. Especially after the main show wrapped up, we, the fans, clung to the spin-offs even more, keeping the legacy alive. We've heard rumors about 4/6s, the Madison, and the Beth and Rip spin-off, but let's be real, it's 1944 that has all of us the most excited right now. So if you're just as hyped about this show as I am, stick around because we're diving into everything you need to know about 1944. The trailer, release date, plot details, and more. I'll be honest, I haven't always been a fan of Taylor Sheridan's approach, especially after Yellowstone's final episode. But I have to admit, creating these prequels was one of his best moves ever. 1883 did a phenomenal job of showing us the hardships the Duttons faced long before they settled in Montana and built their legacy. I still get chills thinking about that heartbreaking scene with James and Elsa under the tree. It's burned into my memory forever. Then came 1923. I was still mourning Elsa, so I hesitated at first, but like many of you, I couldn't resist. It gave us a closer look at Elsa's parents' struggles, and it was just as gut-wrenching. Taylor knows how to pull at our heartstrings. I'll give him that. Plus, 1923 introduced us to some unforgettable characters like Spencer, Alexandra, Kara, and Jacob. Let's be honest, the Dutton family legacy has always been way more intriguing than whatever's going on at the 4/6s ranch. That's why 1944 has everyone so curious. We need to know what happens to the Duttons 21 years after 1923. Paramount Plus is keeping the official synopsis and plot under wraps, but I think we can make some pretty good guesses about what's coming. Set in 1944, the show will undoubtedly focus on the Duttons' relentless fight to hold on to their land. What makes it even more fascinating is that it's set just 1 year before the end of World War II. How will the war impact the ranch? Will there be labor shortages with so many young men sent off to fight? And with industrialization on the rise, how will that affect the ranching community and their way of life? And let's not forget, 1944 is the year of D-Day. June 6, 1944, marked the Allied invasion of Normandy. Could some of the Duttons find themselves overseas? Will we see a character fighting in the war while the family struggles back home? There's so much to explore here. Now, let's talk about familiar faces. Which characters from 1923 might show up in 1944? Sadly, we probably won't see Kara or Jacob again, since 1923 Season 2 is Dutton III's father, which means we're likely to see either Spencer and Alexandra or Jack and Elizabeth as the older generation running the ranch. And if Alexandra or Elizabeth have a child by the end of 1923 or shortly after, that child could be in their 20s by 1944. Old enough to be a major character with their own storyline, maybe even a romantic one. Here's a wild theory. What if John Dutton III's father falls in love with a Native American woman? Could she be Tiana's daughter? It would be an incredible way to keep the Native American community's story connected to Yellowstone. Their presence has always been vital to this universe, and it needs to stay that way in 1944. Speaking of drama, let's not forget about the villains. Remember Banner's son Henry from 1923? He didn't get much screen time, but 1944 could push him into the spotlight as the main antagonist. Maybe he'll pick up where his father left off and continue the feud with the Duttons. And then there's the star power. We've heard rumors about Matthew McConaughey and Kurt Russell joining the Yellowstone universe. Nothing's been confirmed yet, but it's exciting to think about. Taylor once mentioned that Matthew was a natural fit for the Madison, although that title later changed. But honestly, I think Matthew would be even better suited for 1944. He could play an ally to the Duttons, or maybe their biggest enemy. Wouldn't it be interesting to see him as a villain? I don't love the idea of hating a Matthew McConaughey character, but hey, in this universe, anything can happen. And what about Kurt Russell? Fans are dying to see him in a Yellowstone prequel. So who would you rather see in 1944, Team Matthew or Team Kurt? Let me know in the comments. Now let's get to the big question. When will 1944 be released? We know 1923's final episode airs on April 6th. After that, I think Paramount Plus and Taylor Sheridan will shift their focus to 1944. If all goes well, I predict we'll get more news about 1944 in spring 2025. And if they start production right after 1923 ends, there's a chance we could be watching the first episode in early 2026. Are you willing to wait that long? And about the trailer, I'm expecting it to introduce John Dutton II and his love story, along with the new threats and villains the Dutton family will face. I also hope to see familiar faces, maybe Spencer, Alexandra, Jack, or Elizabeth. The big question is, which couple will survive to 1944? So what are your expectations for 1944? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to check out this next